It all began on a cold November night in Boston, Massachusetts. The city was quiet, streets half empty, and most people were rushing home before the storm rolled in. The wind howled between the tall brick buildings, and rain streaked the windows of Eleanor Kane's apartment. She had just finished grading papers, her usual Friday night ritual as a high school English teacher. Eleanor wasn't the type to scare easily. She lived alone, sure, but she had grown used to it. Yet that night, when her phone buzzed with a new notification at exactly 11:11 p.m., something in her chest tightened. The message was from an unknown number. "Do you remember what you did?" Eleanor frowned, setting down her coffee mug. The number wasn't saved in her contacts, and no one had texted her something like this before. At first, she thought it was a prank, maybe one of her students testing her patience. She typed back quickly, "Who is this?" The three dots appeared, then vanished. No reply. She shook her head, turned off the lamp, and decided to ignore it. But the phone buzzed again, this time louder, sharper, as if the sound had cut through the walls of her apartment. "You can't ignore me, Eleanor. The storm won't drown your sins." Her heart stopped. How did they know her name? Eleanor locked her doors, checked her windows, and tried to convince herself it was nothing. Maybe a sick joke. But sleep never came easy that night. Instead, fragments of her past clawed back into her mind, things she had buried years ago. When she was 17, there had been an accident, a car crash on an icy road in Maine. She had been in the back seat with 3 friends after a party. Only 2 survived. Eleanor was one of them. The other survivor, her best friend Lily, never forgave her for grabbing the wheel at the wrong moment. That night was supposed to stay buried in silence. Nobody else knew the truth. So who could be sending these messages now? The following evening, Eleanor tried to shake it off. She curled up on the couch with a blanket, watching old horror movies, ironically, to distract herself from real fear. At 12:05 a.m., her phone lit up again. Same unknown number. "Turn around." She froze. Slowly, she looked over her shoulder. Nothing. Just the dim light of her kitchen and the steady hum of her refrigerator. She let out a nervous laugh until her phone buzzed again. Closer, by the hallway. Eleanor's eyes darted to the hallway near her bedroom. For the briefest second, she thought she saw a shadow shift, even though no one else was supposed to be there. She grabbed a flashlight and rushed forward, swinging the beam into every corner. Empty. But the smell, that was new. A faint, metallic scent, like iron or blood, lingered in the air. By Sunday morning, Eleanor hadn't slept in over 24 hours. She decided to clear her head and walk to the coffee shop down the street. The city was alive again. People bustling, cars honking. She almost felt normal. Until she saw him. Across the street stood a man in a dark hooded coat, hands buried deep in his pockets, staring directly at her. His face was hidden, but she felt his gaze like knives on her skin. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. New message. "Finally, we meet again." Eleanor's breath caught. She glanced up, but the man was gone, vanished into the Sunday crowd. Eleanor had no choice but to find out where the messages were coming from. She went to her friend, Jason, a tech-savvy librarian who owed her a few favors. Together, they traced the number. "It's weird," Jason said, squinting at his laptop. "This isn't just some burner phone. The signal bounces from old landlines, even disconnected ones, like it's coming from everywhere and nowhere. Could it be automated? A program? Eleanor asked. Jason shook his head. No, whoever this is, they're watching you in real time. They know where you are. The phone buzzed again. Jason leaned over her shoulder. Jason can't protect you. He'll be next. Eleanor's blood ran cold. How do they know my name? Jason muttered. Eleanor whispered. Because they know everything. That night, Eleanor tried to sleep again, but the storm outside raged like never before. Thunder rattled the glass, lightning lit up the room, and every flash revealed something impossible. A figure standing closer and closer each time, first by the window, then near the kitchen, then in the hallway again. When the lights flickered back on, the figure was gone, but her phone screamed with notifications. Do you remember the crash? The way the glass shattered? The way she screamed? You let her die. Tears filled Eleanor's eyes. She threw the phone across the room, but it still buzzed, crawling closer like it was alive. Monday morning, Eleanor decided to face the truth. She drove back to Maine, to the town she had sworn never to visit again. The wreck site was still there, an old twisted guardrail on the side of an icy hill. She parked nearby, breathing heavily. Her phone buzzed again. Look behind the trees. She turned, and her heart nearly stopped. Lily, or what was left of her. Her best friend's ghost stood there, pale skin glowing faintly, eyes hollow, lips trembling as though caught between grief and rage. You left me, Lily whispered, though her mouth didn't move. The words came through Eleanor's phone instead. No, Eleanor choked out, tears streaming. It wasn't supposed to happen. I tried to save us. You grabbed the wheel. You killed me. The storm howled through the trees. Eleanor dropped to her knees. What do you want from me? Lily's ghost stepped closer. Her phone lit up one last time. I want you to remember, and I want you to pay. The last thing Eleanor recalled was the screech of tires, the blinding headlights of a truck coming down the same road, and the sudden sharp impact. The next morning, the local news reported a fatal accident on the icy curve outside town. A lone woman, Eleanor Kane, had lost control of her vehicle. Her phone was found at the crash site. The screen still glowed with one unread message. Now you know how it feels. Jason received the news days later. He couldn't believe it, couldn't process the way his friend had died on the very road she had feared. Out of curiosity, he checked her old phone records one last time. The strangest part? Every message came from Eleanor's own number, sent hours before she had even received them. And the very last one had been sent after her death.